Cheers, boys. Hello, and welcome to Liquor Run this week. I'm Nick.
I am Jake.
And I'm Knut. And today we're also joined by a very special guest.
Hey, I'm Duncan.
And tonight we are reviewing Knut's special sauce. What is it made from, Knut?
Not semen. You piece of shit. So tonight it is a very special episode. We're reviewing my homemade apple cider, or hard apple cider, rather. I didn't make the cider, I just fermented it. And the reason we have Duncan is because Duncan is my roommate and he helped me make it. So, Duncan, would you like to explain to the fans how we created this delicious drink and why?
Why? Because we're getting trashed at Halloween. How would be a miracle journey to Stop and Shop where we take every Simply apple that's available on the shelf and a 5-gallon jug of water and dump the water out and fill it with apple juice and throw yeast into it. And then it sits under Knut's bed where he gets a yeast infection and keeps everything at 77 degrees for 2 weeks.
It's like a mother hen sitting on her eggs.
Basically.
It really is.
Wow,
It's a good analogy,
gross.
right?
That's gross.
I just thought of that.
Yeah. So
I don't think she gets yeast infections, though.
Did you get a yeast infection?
I mean, I've had a cold for a while, and definitely sleeping with my room at like 75 degrees and having the yeast under my bed didn't
Yeah, the
help.
waste product of fermentation.
Yeah.
Gassing into your room like it's the Hediadion.
Yes. Also, the very annoying part is for the first couple of days when it's fermenting really fervently, I always hear it bubbling. Like, try to go to sleep, the whole room's quiet. It's like,
That's
My favorite was the first day when it was literally bubbling in an 8/8 time signature.
that was a really disgusting, dude, just fervently fermenting.
yeah.
It's
And, like,
Aggressively ferments.
and we're about to drink aggressively. We're about to drink this.
Yeah. Well, all right. So Duncan did gloss over some of the finer ingredients and points of this cider. So he is correct. It is almost entirely Simply apple, just this Simply brand apple juice. We added one more gallon of an actual
Cider.
an actual cider because they didn't have enough Simply is the answer to
Gives a
that
little
question.
bite,
Yeah,
a
essentially.
little zest.
And so you add that. Then for roughly every gallon of apple juice, you add another pound of brown sugar. I've gone over how to exactly do it before. You've got to keep the temperature right. If you want to recap, it's somewhere in episode 1. But the other ingredients I threw in were an entire bottle of vanilla extract, which sounds like a lot, but again, this is a 5-gallon batch, so it's not that much. And a bunch of cinnamon sticks. And here we are 2 weeks later. So if we want to, without further ado, I'll crack open this mason jar and pour everyone a little bit.
Crack open a cold one with the boys.
It looks like it's lukewarm.
So for the
Yeah,
very
it's
first
not very
time,
cold.
we're not actually going to take shots of this. We're going to take about a half glass, I would say.
I have a 1-quart mason jar with me, so everyone's getting a wine glass, essentially.
Yeah.
All right, cheers.
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 Oh,
Cheers.
before we drink, I will say, normally, what you guys are used to drinking at the party is sweetened post-fermentation. I haven't done that yet, so it's going to taste a lot drier than what you're used to.
All right.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, definitely dry.
That's interesting, though.
Yeah.
It's I'm trying to place what the taste is of the initial hit of it.
Mhm.
It's stronger than last year.
You
It's
think
definitely
so?
stronger than last year.
Oh,
this
that's
is
bad.
already at Thanksgiving strength. When Knut and I went to his family abode for Thanksgiving, we showed
Duncan and I aren't gay. He just lives in Colorado, so we couldn't go home.
Aw,
Poor Duncan.
shooting me down on podcast.
Well, last week we screamed "fuck you, Duncan." So
Wow, fake. All right.
yeah,
Wow,
well,
this was actually perfect timing. You
I
guys
know.
get to meet the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we showed we had his parents try it, and at that point it had the back sweeten had continued to ferment up to the point where it was probably about 20% alcohol or 20%. Yeah, 20%.
Yeah.
So his parents thought it was vile filth, and we're just stomach guzzling just trying to kill it because we're so tired of having this cider in our fucking room over a month after it was made.
Yeah.
I do that every time I buy whiskey. I feel like I end up doing that. I'll drink whiskey regularly, but no one else really drinks it, so I'll end up drinking it, and then it's after a week, I'm like, I don't want this
That
anymore.
didn't
so-
happen last week.
No, not last
Yeah.
week. For those of you who don't know, which is most of you, after last week's podcast where we reviewed Heaven Hill Bourbon, we proceeded to, between the three of us, kill
almost all of it.
4/5 of the bottle,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which was a handle. So
I blacked out. Apparently, I went home and yelled at Duncan for whatever
Yeah, no, he
reason.
had to set an alarm to apologize to me because he was an absolute piece of shit.
yeah, so
I swear we're not a gay couple.
yeah, that was a
I'm too good for him.
it was a good post podcast debauchery,
Yeah.
I would say. So that looks you good?
Yeah, no, I thought I had something, but it might have just been what was,
chunk of yeast.
I think it was in the glass beforehand.
Yeah.
I promise. Duncan was there. We
Yeah,
filtered
we
this.
filtered it.
Yeah, but I've also seen your filtering process. It's not
It
exactly
was much
rocket
more refined than
science.
last time. It
Oh no,
wasn't
this
just
one
a-
was very good.
Last year it
Okay.
was a coffee filter. This year it was like 8 layers of cheesecloth.
Yeah.
Mm.
Also, cheesecloth is the grossest word I can imagine. It has nothing to do with cheese. It is a cloth, though.
Hey, you can make cheese on it. Did that in like high school biology.
Oh, is that why it's called cheesecloth?
Yeah.
That makes it sound so much grosser now. Because
Yeah,
now I'm
yeah.
imagining like
Yeah,
cheese.
no, the idea of making cheese kind of makes me uncomfortable.
Well, it's like when you ferment milk and you get cheese.
You know, I
You
kind
dump the milk through the
I-
cheesecloth and you get cheese.
Yeah.
See, I
So-
prefer to think of cheese as just coming into the world like that. Like like that's like one of the grossest things I can imagine being made.
One day it's milk, next day it's cheese.
Yeah, no, like literally like cartoonishly,
Yeah.
or like there's even just a cheese cow. Like it just like explodes.
I'm
cheese.
imagining some like 1940s cartoon with this fantastical contraption that's bobbing up and down and emitting steam and just bottles of milk going on a conveyor belt and then
Yeah,
hunks of cheese come out of the
exactly.
plate on
That
the
is
other end.
exactly
Perfect.
how I envision, and that's what it's saying. Like I'm
Perfectly cut wheels of cheese. just
Exactly,
coming
Yeah,
out
yeah.
of
rock bottom food would be actually seeing how cheese is made. Like,
the-
Yeah.
So yeah, this it's pretty good. It definitely seems like it could use some work and some extra
Yeah.
processing.
Yeah.
But it tastes like apple cider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And alcohol.
Yeah, I
And
definitely
alcohol.
like
yeah, it just
definitely
tastes like very strong apple cider.
Mm.
Yeah.
some sweetener in this, and it will be a lot better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the question for you guys: how strong do you think it is? Like, give me a percentage, a number percentage. I will again say, the yeast I use supposedly can survive up to, in ideal conditions, it can ferment something to 20 to 22%. I think we're all tasting it. It's definitely not that strong.
Yeah.
But where do you guys think it's at?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say right now your room is not ideal conditions.
Yes.
I would say it's at least 4 Loko strength.
So at least 14.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna probably say like 12.
12.
Damn it, I was gonna say 14.
13.5.
I'll say probably 15.
I'm gonna say about 15 as well.
Yeah. Well, I was right.
I mean, I don't know. I'm
Yeah, I know.
taste
The
testing.
mother hen says it's 15. So
I mean, also 15 is a nice round number that like I like to say to make because it sounds stronger than wine usually. So you know.
well, it's wine usually.
Definitely to people at the party, tell them it's like 15%.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
a little bit
Yeah.
classier than saying it's 4 Loko strength.
or just
Yes.
say it's apple cider. Put some liquor in it.
No, I don't want someone to die.
I mean,
Once this is back sweetened, this is a token. This is like a gateway to getting white girl wasted.
Oh,
because,
no,
like,
yeah,
you
'cause
do not taste it anymore.
you guys remember like when this is sweet, you die because
Yeah.
we would have all already finished our drinks
Yeah.
and we'd be really drunk.
yep. It's a good thing you only brought a quart.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Right?
And then again, it isn't sweetened, so I don't think I could drink that much of this.
I
right
couldn't
now.
drink the whole quart. No.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I've drank a I've had a grape 4 Loko before. I could probably drink an entire quart of this if like push came to shove.
grape
mean-
Four Loko is just really artificial grape flavor.
It's just
No,
disgusting.
like, okay,
It's truly vile.
Okay, great. I had the only Four Loko I've ever finished was a grape Four Loko, and that was last week.
Who the fuck-
And grape Four Loko was okay.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Okay.
Yeah, how have you never finished another Four Loko? You're a raging
No,
alcoholic.
I've only had one Four
He only
Loko
drinks
before.
liquor.
Yeah,
True.
Wait, why?
It's a cost-effective
Just
method.
look at. it.
Yeah, Four Loko. Speaking of cost effective, we should talk about the cost effectiveness of the cider.
That's true.
So, per liter, how much would you say it costs? I know that's hard because you measured it in gallons,
Right. Well, I
But-
mean, 5 gallons becomes what, 20 liters?
something like that. Yeah.
It's slightly under. Call it 19 liters.
Yeah. So per liter, how much would you say?
All right. Let's see. Let's do that. How much does the bottle of Simply Apple cost?
It was about $18 for all of the apple juice we bought.
And we bought, including the 1 gallon of the actual cider, I mean, that shit was only like $1.50. So.
I call it 20. About 20 for all of the for
20.
the base liquid.
12 for the bottle we fermented it in, so that's 32.
32. How much did the yeast cost?
The yeast is a negligible cost. I buy a pound of it for like $12 on the internet, and a pound will last for like probably over 100 gallons. So call it like $1.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's
33.
33. Then the bottle of vanilla extract on its own was $18.
That's true.
Well, how much? Well,
Vanilla is
extract's
Expensive,
Yeah.
yeah. The vanilla and the cinnamon were probably almost half the cost, to be
Yes.
honest.
Shit.
But
So-
even so, let's round it to like
50,
So that's $3 per liter, about.
55
55. Yeah,
for everything.
yeah. So yeah, it's like $3 or $4 a liter.
Yeah, because that's what, $10 a gallon
Yeah.
ish,
Yeah.
$11 a gallon.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's very cost effective.
Yeah, I would say. And then I mean, considering we mostly do handles of alcohol
Yeah.
on this podcast, I mean that's
Yeah, but
$1 a liter. That's
You gotta remember,
But it's
this is
also
also at 10 to 15%.
So
So let's compare it to
NOS.
Four Loko, which is like
Yeah.
what, $3 for 24 ounces?
Yeah. So $3 for a little under a liter.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's pretty similar to Four Loko. It's probably
Yeah.
actually cheaper than Four Loko,
That is
yeah,
true.
probably.
and definitely, if not better tasting, better for you, or
yeah.
less bad for you.
Well,
Less
yeah,
bad.
because it doesn't. Well, this hasn't killed anyone yet. Admittedly, small sample size, but
We
Um,
have people of weak constitution.
Also, the Four Locos that killed people were the energy drink version.
that's true.
That
I have-
shit was
I have a hard time believing there's not still some caffeine in there because those things fuck me up, but good.
Yeah, it's just volume of liquid though.
Yeah.
That's
It's
true.
just a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
no,
and-
like idiots drink it quickly,
Yeah.
and then you had what, almost 5 drinks in under an hour, and that's what kills people.
Yeah.
Shotgunning a loco is
Yeah.
entertaining.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Zach did that once. Shotgun
Seems
a
like
loco.
something Zach would do.
Yeah, I don't think it went well for him.
Probably not.
So
Well, I mean, yeah.
yeah.
Mistakes were made.
So if you're out there and you're like, I'm gonna have some fun tonight, I'm gonna shotgun a Four Loco. Don't. That's probably a bad idea.
End result, you kind of look like my dad, but 2 years older than me.
So yeah.
No, he's not 2 years older than you. He's like 6 months
He's
older
6.
than
Holy shit, he looks like
He's turning 21
Yeah.
on Saturday.
Yeah, no, that fuck. I thought he
Oh,
was
that's
older
right.
than that.
Yeah, no, Zach
Yeah, no,
is,
he literally looks 40. Never shotgun a loco. It does shit to you.
Zach's a baby, and he's an experienced baby.
Experienced baby.
I don't know many babies that do cocaine.
No, that's also true.
Yeah.
um,
I don't know. We could make an R-rated version of that movie, Boss Baby. Tell the story the way it really is.
as in like a CEO of a company who actually does cocaine, because that's
Yeah.
what CEOs of companies
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
Yeah.
Jordan Belfort, baby.
Or
Oh my
A
god.
plucky young 20-year-old who looks as old as my dad and does cocaine.
As
Can
a
I
baby?
be like his LinkedIn?
Gross.
So back to the economics of this. I would say if you're making it, it's very obviously much more work intensive than just going out and buying out liquor or whatever. But for the cost of it, I mean,
You can't beat it.
that's it.
It's a learning experience, but also, Canute, last time, this is probably what, your 5th time making alcohol by yourself?
Yeah, this is my second time making cider specifically, but this is probably my 7th or 8th time fermenting things. I've only distilled things like through
Yeah,
2
so,
or 3
like,
times.
Yeah, first time you do it, you're probably gonna fuck it up.
Yeah,
first time you do it, you're gonna fuck it up. Second time you do it, it's gonna
Mhm.
taste still probably a little
Yeah.
bad.
And again, some of the costs there are like if you were starting from completely square one, you'd be putting in a little more cost. Like, for instance, I have some rubber tubing that I use for this, but I just always use it for like everything I do with making alcohol. Funnels. If you don't have funnels, get funnels.
Yeah.
You're gonna want funnels. Again, like mason jars are pretty cheap, but like right now I just have it bottled in another like 5-gallon water cooler jug. But for a lot of things you might want to actually bottle into something. Mason jars pretty cheap. Really a negative. You can get like a dozen of them for $6 or $7 at the supermarket. So another fairly low cost. But the more you do it, the more you accumulate ancillary shit, and each time the less you're getting closer and closer to just your material costs.
So essentially, practice really does make perfect because practice also makes cheaper.
Yes, practice makes cheaper.
So
Mhm.
that's good to know if, for any of you would-be alcohol makers out there.
And I think also a good way of comparing this cost-wise is if you like went to the store and bought a 6-pack of another, just a regular hard cider, a 6-pack's going to be 12-ounce cans, so
and also
70
half the strength.
Yes, yeah, true.
And also like 5% volume of what you're making.
No, I'm saying like comparing like just comparing that
like if you had
unit
a 6-pack
size.
of
Six-
your shit to a 6-pack of
Yeah.
what you buy in the grocery store.
How much would like even a lower like a Red's apple ale be like what $8 or $9 for a 6-pack?
Yeah.
Something like that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you would get 2 liters of my stuff at that cost of like for the $8 roughly, which is roughly what you'd get in a 6-pack probably. But again, this has almost twice as much alcohol, and I think tastes better than Red's. Red's is way too sweet and gross for me.
Yeah, I bought Angry Orchard last year, and I bought a 12,
Mhm.
and I couldn't drink it.
Yeah.
Because there's 50 grams of sugar in it, and I just I would taste it, I would
Mhm.
drink it, and just feel like I have diabetes.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, compared to something like, you buy a Burnett's gin or a, Calypso rum, I mean, it's cost effectiveness wise, it's
comparable.
It's comparable, it's better, but also a lot more work intensive, so it's essentially how much work you're willing to put into it.
Like we keep on saying cost effective over and over again, but it's also the work. Like you put in 2 weeks of effort to get.
But
this.
that's also fun at a certain level. It's
Yeah,
it's enjoyable, and you can be proud of it, and you get to
True.
name it.
What is your name for it?
Stony Brew.
Stony Brew.
Stony Brew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, so really, it's just if you're like Canute and you like to do it, it's a great method of getting alcohol. But if you're someone who
Isn't
either
an
doesn't
alcoholic.
have a kitchen, which is a big limiting factor there,
Yeah, I guess.
or you just don't feel like putting in the work and you're just like, I just want to get drunk, you
I want to be
go
drunk now, not in 2 weeks.
go to your liquor store and buy some Georgies or some Fleischmann's.
That's true.
So
No, some Heaven Hill.
some
Heaven
Heaven Hill,
Hill.
yes, I highly recommend Heaven Hill.
Heaven Hill.
Incidentally, the biggest discussion that came out of this is actually a year old. The first time is looking up the code of conduct of the university when it comes to brewing it. And technically, there is nothing that says you cannot make your own alcohol. However, the end result is about 10 times the amount we're allowed to have in a dorm.
More than 10 times, because we're only allowed to have 500 milliliters. We have 5 gallons. We have 20. We have 40 times the amount we're. Well, no, because it's
It's not
not.
hard.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
What's the limit on wine?
One bottle.
Which
One
is
bottle.
$7.50.
Is it one bottle?
I think it's a bottle.
Isn't it only a 6-pack of beer? That's
Yeah,
not
it's
equivalent.
Yeah, no,
No,
they're
that's
not.
roughly equivalent.
Yeah, but beer's
Bottle of wine's-
weaker than.
No,
No,
I
but
think,
a bottle
I
of
think,
wine's only like
No, I think it's still a half.
6 drinks.
I think wine and liquor are the same.
I think you're right. It doesn't stipulate between
Wine and liquor.
wine and liquor. I think it's just anything over like
Beer.
beer level is just.
We have
half a
at
liter.
least 40 times as much alcohol as we're legally allowed.
My
to have.
question is if it was, but like it entered the building non-alcoholic. Like, at what stage is that? Like, because technically, if I leave like my salad dressing here, that became like I start breaking the rules. Like, you gonna prosecute me for that? I'm here for following the letter of the law, and I feel like you can't. If it entered non-alcoholic, that should be what it's considered.
We're really
as.
digging into some loopholes
I could
here.
have totally done this accidentally or for a bio class. You don't know what
That's
classes
true.
I do or don't take.
Yeah.
Also, it's very hard to tell that it is actually liquor
Oh, yeah,
unless you
that's it.
actually smell it or drink
And
it.
even if
Well-
you smell it, it's not
Well,
super obvious.
I think if like an RA comes into your room and they're like, "Why the fuck do you have 5 gallons of just random apple juice or apple cider in a jug under your bed?" And you could just be like, "I like apple juice." That would be really specific. That would be really suspicious, you know.
But they, while it's fermenting,
No, you just gotta make them
Okay.
uncomfortable. Just
And-
like say it's your fetish. Like, they're gonna leave real fast.
in fairness, when it's fermenting, it has the swan neck coming out of the top, and a lot of people wouldn't be able to figure out what that is. But like someone who's been in the bio or a chem lab may they may not put it together on the spot, but when they leave, they might put two and two together, and be like,
It's releasing gas.
"Yeah, I wonder if he's fermenting something."
You close the door. I've already passed out the safeties.
You're not allowed back in.
See you next month.
Yeah.
It'll be gone by then.
No, it won't.
I
Until
just
Thanksgiving.
I would love to be like a fly on the wall in that situation. Just someone comes in and there's just a giant jug of apple cider under your bed.
Did they not even notice when we got shut down?
They didn't notice any of the times they came into my. They came into my room like 3 times while it was there, and they never noticed.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
they
it's
never even
under
noticed
the
the door
bed.
could open.
It's under the bed. You wrap it in a towel to keep the sunlight off of it, and like there's my hammock blocking the view, and there's like my comforter draped over the front. It's really not that easy to like notice.
They also weren't actively looking for those kinds of violations.
Exactly.
They were more looking for people who were trying to hide out under your bed.
In the most recent instance, yes,
Yes.
when the party got shut down. That is true.
Let's not talk by the door next time. Because I think that was the biggest problem.
Yeah, most likely.
I
But
thought we moved away from the door. Near the end.
we were
I
just
thought.
loud.
Yeah.
I think we were still.
No,
Duncan.
close
I think
to
the
door.
problem is a
Duncan.
lot of people
Okay,
had their
I was
shoes
at my
on
loudest.
still, too.
Yeah,
you're right.
no shoes and away from the door. Because I dropped Clara on the ground, and that was my most obnoxious. Apparently, she has a gash in her back.
Ow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was probably the peak of
To be fair, I had way too much caffeine that day. Like, I had come from a coffee shop and like having like a lot of like strong espresso drinks.
so
I-
wait. Oh my god. Jeez.
Oh wow, Duncan, you fucked her back good, but like not sexually. You just like fucked up her back, dropping her.
Yikes! I have a bruise on my hip, so really I'm the victim here.
So wait, hold on. Your excuse for why you were so fucked up was because you had too much caffeine.
Yeah, because if
that
you
day.
twist alcohol with caffeine,
Oh,
you
No,
get
I
drunk way
know,
faster.
but most of the time people would be like,
Oh,
I
I
had
also
way
had-
too much to drink.
No, I had a lot to drink. It was the combination. Like that was like it was at that point.
He's also a white bitch. So
I am a white bitch. Like I came from a coffee
I was
shop.
about to say
Like
that.
I'm the whitest bitch here. But I like that was at that point I was easily already 9 drinks in anyway. Like it
Yeah.
was that with the caffeine. Like because
Okay.
I can usually I'm usually not throwing anybody on the ground
Yeah.
until like 12 or 13.
You're not a
Like this
also
is sea level. Like sea level is for pussies when you're drinking. Like
So this has happened before. That you've thrown people on the ground when you're drunk.
that's probably true.
Yeah, probably. You
See,
probably don't
I
remember.
usually don't think of
Yeah.
you as like a particularly like energetic or aggressive drunk. Me, on the other hand, I invented West sumo wrestling.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, there's in our West apartments there's 2 doors that are spaced equally apart enough that are very convenient for some sumo wrestling.
Especially
Yeah.
when you knock a hole in your friend's wall that's still not been
That's
fixed.
not my fault. That's Alyssa's forehead's fault for being very, very firm against the wall as I beat her
Not
for the
no,
4th time in a row.
not for you. Not your fault for sweeping the leg.
No, yeah, it's not my fault for being much better at the sport I invented than a girl.
It's not property damage if I did it with somebody else's body.
it's their property damage.
So what you're saying is if you it's different is if you just took a bat and hit the wall. It's because it's a person. It's suddenly different.
It's a
Okay, wait, no,
Alyssa's
this is like
fault.
this is like some AI shit. Like if I have like a sentient like AI this baseball bat and I hit it against the wall, is the AI liable? Like
Well,
no,
because that's
no,
essentially
no,
what he
no,
did
no,
with
no.
Alyssa's. He took her ragged like her
No,
lifeless
no.
body and threw her into the wall.
she did fight back. So
Poorly.
poorly, but so yeah.
Fighting back was negligible.
But it was like the 3rd time she challenged you, so I don't know why she kept trying to wrestle you.
Yeah. I don't know.
So
Technically, it was the 2nd time she challenged me, but we do best 2 out of 3, so it was our 4th bout.
I don't know why she kept
And,
going after.
yeah,
like, the
I'm
2nd time.
4-0 on her on bouts. Again, I'm a good bit out of her weight class. I've got like 4 inches, at least like 25 or 30 pounds, and a Y chromosome on her. And I invented this sport.
And you were had a little bit of tequila that night, which makes you rowdy.
I didn't have any
Er.
tequila. I don't touch tequila. Well,
Oh,
I
that's
say that,
right,
but I
yes,
had margaritas at Applebee's last night because they were $1.
$1.
Did you see?
margarita.
all-
Did
all
you see the
October, get them while
Snapchat
they're
of
there.
like that, like how they're made? They're like made in like those 5-gallon paint buckets, basically.
Yeah.
And it's like they're like diluted really heavily with water.
They're actually not because I could taste it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Shabbat and I were both like, wow, this is $1? We have tolerances and this is awesome.
So yeah, no, I remember you had sorry, our mic was falling off of our rigging.
It's
So
a high tech setup.
right, when we did I mean basically everyone at the party took a shot of tequila except for those who weren't drinking. Except for you, you took a shot of rum.
Yes.
You were the odd one out. I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
I don't think I was there yet.
No,
You
you
weren't.
stumbled in at some point.
I came from the vegan.
Already drunk.
I was not drunk. I was enough to drive. I was not.
No,
I was sober enough to drive.
No, you
When I
weren't.
say you stumbled in, I mean I was blackout drunk and I remember you stumbling in. So
It was a long walk up the stairs.
Third floor.
I was wiped out. It was
All
a
right,
long
yeah,
day.
yeah, You just spend a lot of time in a coffee shop, Duncan? Was that it?
I spent a lot of time eating my ass.
I didn't.
How do you know you were blackout drunk?
You're right.
There was that time I was blackout drunk and I insisted I give you a blowjob, but Nick didn't let me.
I did not. It was. I don't want to talk about it. It was more close than I would like it to have been.
Hi, Krista.
But hi, Krista. This is before Krista and I were dating. It's all right. But she's also heard the story 1,000 times
she
before.
was there.
Nick's
No, she
almost
wasn't.
blowjob by Canute is sponsored by Krista, Nick's girlfriend.
Yes, my boyfriend.
Yeah, you're right.
Surprise!
It was,
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
got some stuff to tell you right now.
So yeah, see, we are doing this podcast in a closet, and I'm about to walk out. So, yeah, no, that was.
That's right. Duncan and I aren't gay. Nick and I are.
This
Surprise.
unwanted homosexual advance by Canute is brought to you by alcohol.
By-
Every fucking time.
No, I do it sober once in a while.
No, the unwanted ones are when they're under alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Alcohol is what is the difference between your like minor restraint and then you shoving your tongue in my throat.
All right.
Canute's like 30% gay, and the alcohol like magnifies that to about 100.
So, yeah, thank you for shots of lemon svedka. Yeah, the uncomfortableness gets a little ratcheted up when you get drunk.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
You guys
Just a
will.
little.
You guys will be happy to know that I'm gonna like not get super trashed this weekend because I need to be in charge of the party.
mm-hmm.
I feel like as soon as we get shut down at our place and moved over to Corey's, that's gonna be that ship will have sailed real hard.
Yeah, that's probably true. Sailed to the point where like I'm gonna have GP build me a ship, and then I'm
GP's
gonna
gonna be there.
GP's gonna be there.
I haven't seen GP in months.
I know,
Oh,
right?
I'm so happy.
Yeah,
That ray of unhappiness.
I know. A ray of sunshine.
Ray of
I think
sunshine.
the last time I saw him was last Halloween.
Really? You haven't seen
Yeah.
him since then?
Really?
Oh, true, because he was in Southampton last semester too.
I thought he came back a couple times though.
He
this
did.
This is our friend. He goes through the Southampton campus of Stony Brook now. So we haven't seen him, and he's a blast.
He's the blast. He's bringing a bunch of Southampton people also.
Really?
Yeah,
Sweet.
none of the girls are single.
Oh well, it's up for you.
Yeah.
Are they all bringing their boyfriends then?
We cannot
one or two of
handle
them
that.
might
We
be.
literally cannot handle that many people.
That would be.
I was gonna
Don't worry.
collapse the fucking floor.
Don't worry about it.
Well, let's say we have about.
We will actually have to open both of our rooms at that point.
Or just
Yeah.
bamboo.
Well, we
forest.
know about 20
It'll
kids
be
are
too cold. We
coming,
already took
and then
one.
multiply that by
Especially
2
like
for all
like
of your
typical
friends
Halloween
that are
costumes
coming.
of like the people like, especially women's Halloween costumes are way too skimpy to be out in like October night weather.
That's true. That's true.
The other thing is it's gonna rain for 3 days before Friday, so the ground's gonna be super muddy, so we can't do it outside.
Oh,
Fair.
Fuck, right.
Yeah, the
Okay,
other
so-
plan besides having it in the dorm would be to have it in the forest behind our west apartment complex, which is full of bamboo. So
The bamboo forest.
yeah, the bamboo
Invasive
forest.
species.
Yay! So yeah, that would have been an interesting place to hang up some Halloween decorations and get trashed. But
You know what? Yeah, I may end up. I'm probably gonna go back there, take a look on Friday morning, and I'll probably call Duncan and be like, Duncan, you're fucking wrong. We're doing it out here. We're doing it live. Eat my ass.
Except
I'm
it's
gonna
not
get.
gonna work.
I'm
It's
gonna go
totally
buy
not.
firewood. I hate buying firewood. I want to clarify. The only reason I will buy firewood rather than cutting my own
There
is
won't be
because
a
it's
dry piece of wood in a 30-mile radius.
and
well,
it's not legal here.
there's
either.
that, yeah, and it's not super legal. Normally, I just cut my own firewood over in Vermont. But so I'll go swallow my fucking pride. I'll buy some fucking firewood.
That's very big of you.
I know, right? Yeah.
It's not legal here. It's this man who cut down bamboo and made a fence out of the bamboo last Halloween party.
Bamboo's an invasive species. We can cut the bamboo. I
Bamboo's
can't-
actually, yeah, you're allowed to cut that down.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to cut down a fucking tree.
You almost stole a Christmas tree from campus last year.
No, I talked about it a lot, never actually did.
Yeah, because you got too sidetracked.
That's true. I got sidetracked doing other antics. Probably mostly involving bamboo.
Yeah, but so in a major point in the discussion of whether this would be outside in the bamboo forest or in a dorm room, what it was, in a dorm room, the RAs get called.
Yeah.
Out in the forest, the police get called.
But out in the forest,
So
you have places to run. And at least the 4 people in this room are not the slowest people at the party.
it's a good point.
We're pretty faster than some cops.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
well, you don't have to outrun the
some
cops, though. You have to outrun, like, Val.
GP.
GP.
No offense,
Yeah.
GP.
Actually, not that slow of a guy, but he'll get blackout drunk and just fall down. It'll be okay.
Probably.
Yeah.
But then again,
That's the thing. I don't think, like,
Hopefully
you
we
really
don't
think
need-
Jake's gonna be the fast enough to outrun anyone? He's gonna fall on his face.
No, apparently while I was blackout drunk and I was sprinting, I was doing pretty well.
Everyone who attests to that was also very drunk.
Not everyone. Alex wasn't
Oh.
that. Yeah, Alex.
Yeah, Alex
Alex
Olga
was the
too,
one.
probably. Yeah.
No, Alex was the one who said, "I was surprised at how well your form was while you were drunk."
See, when I'm drunk, I just fucking stumble.
I
Yeah.
don't know, like, I feel like drunk me would also kind of still be a form snob. Like, I get so uppity about people's forms.
I
Like,
feel like you say that, but then you would still be stumbling.
Yeah.
You say that before you try to run through the woods in the dark.
it depends how drunk. In a toga, because I'll be wearing a toga.
Yeah, in a Halloween costume.
I'll be. Oh yeah.
I'll be in a suit. I won't even water run. I want to walk daintily to not get mud on it.
I got it prepared already.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Hospital Jake.
For our listeners, most of you, if you've been listening to the podcast, you're aware of the Hospital Jake story. If you're not aware,
Have we told that story?
No, we
I
haven't.
don't think we haven't.
that's
no.
right.
Yeah.
We keep saying it's a story for another day.
Today's that day.
God damn it! Today's that day. Who shall tell it? Should it be me, since I was
Yeah,
the one who rode with you and you don't remember the story yourself?
Exactly.
Like, so long, partner.
Canute was there with me for the entire time of this story, so I feel like he's the one to tell it because I was not really there.
True. So this was the first party I hosted in college. I was a sophomore. This was like September sophomore year. It was after our race at Binghamton. This was the running club's first like official meet ever as a club. We come back. We want to have this post meet party. Jake's one of the first people to arrive at my dorm, and we're like, "Yo, Jake, here, have a drink. What do you want?" He's like, "I'll take a gin and tonic." Takes a gin and tonic, downs that shit in like 3 minutes. Horrifying. Don't drink gin and tonics that way, children. And then we're bamboozling. Bamboozling is an activity I create.
Also involves the bamboo forest.
Yes, it's an
Convenient.
activity I created sophomore year, where you basically take a split lengthwise half piece of bamboo, and you use it as a liquor funnel to like funnel liquor into people's mouths. And normally people go for like, maybe 5 seconds, then like you tip it up at the end and everyone cheers. It's like, and it's like, maybe a shot or two. Jake probably took like
5 or 6.
5, 6, 7 shots of gin. It was gin. He bamboozled gin. He just straight gin out his bamboo shoot. And I kept being like, "You done?" He's just like, "Nah." He's just like giving me the hand signal to keep going, like 3 times. Everyone was just silent watching him. And then so he gets another gin and tonic and just sits in the chair in the corner, and he sits there for like the next 2.5 hours. Party's going, everyone's having a good time. At some point,
Was it that long? Did he last that long?
yeah, because he did that at like 9:30, and it wasn't until like
Really?
closer to midnight that like shit.
Yeah,
hit the
That's
fan.
impressive.
So-
Yeah, now you realize. Also, side note, this was my first time going over 3 drinks about.
So this is your first time really drinking.
Yeah.
This is what made Jake an alcoholic. So around like 11:30, I forget if it was me or Charlie. I think it was Charlie came over to you.
Yeah.
Slaps Jake on the shoulders like, "Yo, Jake, how you doing? You looking a little down." Jake, who's been like, hunched over, kind of staring at his cup, just looks up at Charlie, says, "No," and then vomits all over his dick. Not Charlie's, over Jake's, all over his own lap. And from there, we spent the next like 30 to 40 minutes kind of trying to make sure he's awake. He eventually passed out and becomes unresponsive, and we're like, "Fuck, let's call an ambulance."
Yeah.
So I rode with Jake to the hospital. And in fairness, so like Jake pretty much had stopped drinking after bamboozling, so by the time he gets to the hospital, he hasn't had anything to drink in almost 3 hours. So, his liver's doing its job. It's getting the alcohol out. But that doesn't change the fact of when he woke up, what the doctor says to him is, "When you came in, your BAC was at a .22. You need to work on your stamina." And in that moment, Jake was sent to the
deleted.
fucking shadow realm.
And he did for the next 3 years worked on his stamina.
Yes. Yes. Jake, you should, like, at your last party in college, you should go to the hospital again. Hope it's the same doctor and just be like, Worked in my stamina, bitch.
What's on BSC now?
Doctor's gonna be like,
you're literally fucking dead.
like 0.45. You should be dead.
How are you alive?
No, what I think the most I thought it was quick. I thought it was he bamboozled and then a half hour later just started throwing up.
No.
So basically,
He
Jake
sat in the chair
spent
for a while.
2.5 hours
Choking down
staring at his cup and just becoming more drunk.
Yeah.
Just contemplating how drunk he was getting. Like, I don't think I've ever heard a story of someone being as in their own head while they're getting drunk.
Yeah.
Like, because normally you drink, you party, you drink, you party, you drink, you party. There's never drink all at once and then just sit and wait for it to hit you. You never do that.
He did just sit and wait for it. He sat because it was hitting him.
Right. But, like, just hit him continuously for 2.5 hours. I mean, I would have loved to just be a fly on the wall inside of his head, just on what was happening.
No, I was talking to people the entire time. I can pull up, like, John and Krista, two other people who were at that party, stole my phone for a little bit and took some photos.
And you of course, still have them.
Yeah.
Because you can't get rid of those.
Actually, I should see those after the podcast.
Yeah.
All right, but so to recap about Jake's Halloween costume. So every Halloween, he essentially dresses up as Hospital Jake and adds on new pieces of the costume based on other stupid drunk tales he's encountered in the subsequent year. And to add to his costume this year, I got him a hospital badge that says, "Hello, my name is," and he sharpied in Hospital Jake.
Because that's his nickname.
Yes, because that is his nickname. Literally, most of my friends who aren't from running club, because, Jake's a common enough name, I just say Hospital Jake when I'm talking about this guy.
Yeah, fun fact, one of Canute's friends didn't even know my last name and just thought my name was Hospital Jake.
Wait, who was that?
Corey.
Yeah. Well,
Sounds like Corey.
Sounds like Corey, yeah. But so, and then clipped underneath the hospital badge is a shot glass with the little, like, medical, like, cross on it.
The red cross.
What? Well, no, because it's a red circle and then a nothing cross.
Yeah.
It's not a red cross.
You know what I mean.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, so, he can just walk around with this pin to his chest, and people can pour him shots. He's gonna be like, "Well, I'm Hospital Jake."
Yeah, so
It'll work even well on, because I got, like, all extra large for the top, so it can just be like...
Oh, that's true, yeah.
So yeah, Jake specifically bought hospital scrubs because he went to the hospital one time, and that's his nickname now.
Yeah.
And
No, but it's just for the Halloween party.
Yeah, because on Halloween he becomes Hospital Jake.
It's my costume.
Yeah.
Jake, sometime, like, we're gonna end up, like, running into each other, like, I'm gonna visit you. We're gonna be, like, 40. You're gonna have kids. They're gonna hear me call you Hospital Jake, and glass is gonna shatter in their minds. They're gonna be like,
oh my god.
"Dad, did you just call you Hospital Jake?" That was my nickname in college. Why?
Well,
you're...
maybe.
What? You're old enough now.
What
Sit
age
down,
are
this is
you?
quite a
Oh,
tale.
you're 8? No. Hey, Jake, you never told me that hospital story. What age are you? I'm 15. Wait a little bit.
That was like when I learned that my dad, when he took the SAT, the way he arrived was 15 minutes late, jumping out the back of a van, high off his fucking mind.
That's like the story my dad told me about. The only perfect score he got in the midterm in college was the day after he had done acid.
Oh, so still on acid.
A little bit, yeah. He said not tripping, but not entirely, like, sober yet.
Hadn't cleared his system.
Yeah, hadn't cleared. He got 100 on a stats midterm.
Jesus.
What a professional.
Yeah.
My friend, my best friend Jack back home, his father has told him explicitly how to get good mushrooms.
Oh.
Mark Aaron is a true champion. He's like literally a druid. I like went up, like an actual druid, like gets naked and does shrooms in the woods druid. That is my best friend's dad. And we went up to see the eclipse this summer with his like druid group of just a bunch of old white people in this 15-passenger van talking about how spiritually moved they were by the eclipse. It was fucking incredible.
That's horrifying.
How many shrooms did you see during that trip?
I wasn't paying attention. We just we sequestered ourselves away from the crazy old people. The dude driving the van looked like fucking Doc Brown from Back to the Future.
Oh my god.
And he was like using a paper map, like not agreeing with Google Maps. Like, I'm not gonna take the interstate. I'm gonna take this dirt back road all the way back from Wyoming. And we took 3 hours longer than we should have. Surprise.
Yeah, but that was 3 hours of entertaining being in a van of shroom-filled middle-aged men.
The best part was when we went to a convenience store in Wyoming. I don't know if you've ever had Uber Monster, but it's brewed Monster. It kind of tastes like non-alcoholic Jaeger. Objectively, it should be disgusting.
Sounds horrible.
Objectively, it should be the worst thing you've ever tasted.
Well, because the only reason you drink Jaeger is because it's alcoholic, not because it tastes good.
But it tastes like it in the best way possible. The same way that I think Red Bull tastes like jet fuel, but in a good way. Uber Monster is delicious, but you feel it move through your whole body. I was just this is I should not put this. You can feel yourself shaving 5 years off your life with every can.
Interesting.
It's fucking
interesting.
disgusting.
That's a new
like
one.
Four Loko.
It's like Four Loko.
That's definitely a new one.
I definitely feel that shaving time off my life. Speaking of time, we're getting towards the end of our podcast today, so we should go to our closing remarks. Final appraisal of Stony Brew, this year's batch of Stony Brew.
I would say you 1 out of 10.
I don't know. Give me a sentence, then give me an out of 10 already.
All right. So I think obviously could use some sweetening.
Yeah.
That's obvious. We're getting the right out of the
No, I don't deny that.
Jug. So yeah, I would say 6 out of 10. Sweeten it. 8 to 9 out of 10.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo the sweetening. I being the white bitch, I also want cinnamon in that. Cinnamon will carry me up to cinnamon and sweetening will carry that up to a 9 for me. I'm gonna echo the 6 out of 10.
I think it's actually mostly fine with sweetening. I'm not really a sweet person, though. I don't really have that much of a sweet tooth. So I think sweetening would improve it a little, but otherwise I kind of after a little bit, the beginning flavor just it's you get over it, for me at least. So 7 out of 10.
I'm gonna agree with Jake. I'm a little biased obviously because it's my baby, but I'm gonna say close to 7 out of 10. The dryness doesn't bother me as much, partly because this past summer I got really into IPAs and some more bitter and less.
I got into drinking dirt.
The way I like to describe IPAs now is it's basically a Saradomin brew from RuneScape. A Saradomin brew is made by mixing a vial of water with an herb and a crushed bird's nest, and that's what an IPA tastes like.
That's so basically you're just fermenting grass.
Yeah. But hence why I'm not as bothered by the unsweetened, though I do believe it will be better with sweetening. So I'm gonna say probably 7 out of 10, and then again at the party it'll be more of a 9.
Yeah.
I
can't wait to taste it.
I can't either.
Yeah.
So for this week's Liquor Run, episode 3, I'm Nick.
I'm Jake.
I'm Knut, and our special guest
Duncan.
and we'll see you guys next week.
Good night.